Okay, for this one, it's the gun wing stack. This is probably the best short yardage play in the entire game. We'll run it against random play. So this is likely a cover 1 or a cover 3. Just hike it as is, throw the ball in the middle of the field to that guy. 10 yards. It's pretty much, it's very rare it gets less than 5. This is likely some kind of man corner blitz. So we're probably just going to throw this ball to square here, catch it, we'll get 3-4 yards. But this is your play for 4th and 1. 4th and 1, this thing's pretty much guaranteed. It's up to you whether you keep the running back on his route or not. If he's running this swing, you can throw it down to him, pick the ball up, you get 5 yards or whatever. It's up to you. If you think they're sending pressure, like this looks like it's some kind of cover 1. If you think they're sending pressure, keep the running back into block. If you don't, then don't. Put this out here. Oh, and he got there. That's very rare. That doesn't normally happen. Davis in the slot here. I'm going to switch him out because his route running isn't quite good enough. So we want Diggs and Davis. Yeah, we'll put Cole Beasley there. A higher spacing is the play. So if we was to call this versus say Storm Brave 1, you're in a 4th and 1, you've got to get it. Obviously you've got the threat of this inside zone run, which you can run, maybe pick up a yard or 2. That's always a possibility, but because of the formation, there is a threat of the run. And all we're going to do is just throw this ball out here and catch it. And that's literally what we're going to do every time. If it looks like man coverage, hike the ball, throw it out here, and that's 5 yards. So if you're in a 4th and 1, you've got to get it. I would go to this play every time, because you can also just throw this ball here. So we decide, I know we think they're sending more than they are. They're only sending 5 guys here, but we think they may be sending 6. And you think that the user's going to take away this throw out here to Beasley. He came back to the ball and Allen threw it higher, but it's fine. So you think that they're going to play that, then you can always just Knox's route here, low ball it, catch it. So hold L2, fire it into him, and it's pretty much, the cornerback will never play this. You can also throw this one as a low ball as well. The user's likely to be in the middle of the field playing that though. So I probably wouldn't, but this you can throw every time. If you are looking to throw over there, keep the running back into block, because a guy does run in the face of it. But if not, throw that, catch it. 5 yards every time, no matter what happens versus man coverage, you will get 5 yards. You're either going to throw this one out here. You can even sometimes, if you get it perfectly timed like that, that was 15 or 14 or something. So yeah, you can do that. This play will work. And I missed the throw, fucking hell. This play will also work versus, say, we'll call it versus cover 2. So we'll go, so wing stack, go higher space in 3-4. They have to pretty much be in 3-4. If they're in nickel, we'll just run the ball on them and pick up a couple of yards. So they're in this, he's going to run him off. We're just going to, oh, man, Allen sucks. But what's going to happen is Diggs is going to run the deep cornerback off, or the curl flat zone off, and then we're going to hit Beasley underneath. Now you don't have to. If you want to, you can wait on it and maybe throw that. I wouldn't do that. You can throw that ball, but ideally you probably just want to throw this one here, and that's 9 yards. And that route there will pretty much get underneath every single coverage. See here, we can probably fire this triangle route out here. No, you probably need to be, if we respot the ball, this throw will likely work to the short side. Yeah, it will work to the short side of the field, so he gets over the, oh wow, that guy's playing that. You shouldn't do that, but no, sorry. What am I on about? You want to throw this to the wide side. So if you're on the opposite hash mark and he's going to the wide side of the field, this will allow it to get over the top of him. I don't know why it's doing that. It wouldn't normally do that in a game, but it is what it is. But the square route underneath is going to be there every single time for minimum 5 yards. As long as your wide receiver there is good enough, he'll beat man coverage. Versus a cover 2, he'll sit down underneath the flat zone and you'll be able to catch it. That linebacker there isn't doing anything. He's not going to make a play on the ball. It's technically not in his zone. Once he breaks there, he played it that time. But they normally won't. I threw it maybe a tiny bit early. But versus cover 2, you can also throw, you've got this guy wide open in the middle of the field for 10 plus yards. And yeah, this is just the best short yardage play in the game. You can also flick this out here as always, maybe try and make a guy miss, just whatever. But yeah, that's what I would do in most areas of the field. Where this play really shines is the red zone. It's impossible, for the most part, it's impossible to stop within the 5. So we start on the 4-yard line. Call it as is, but we're not going to keep Beasley on this route here because you see this gets played now, ish. And what we're wanting to do is hit Diggs behind this, and this cornerback gets too close, like that. So what we want to do, see, this is a cover 2 in the red zone. Cover 2, a lot of people use cover 2 in the red zone. You put your other wide receiver on a hitch, and put your running back on a streak. If you know it's cover 2, like this is 100% cover 2. Look at the way the cornerbacks are 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, playing to the outside of the receivers, the 2 safeties high. Standard cover 2. Now, if you get a standard cover 2 look like this, you can wait for this guy to bounce off the back of the end zone. Look how wide open he is. Every time. And that will literally happen every single time. So, hike the ball. I pressed the wrong button, but you can see on the replay that what will happen is this hitch here will hold down the flat zone, which is that guy, and the hook zone, that guy. This guy will not get out there because he will kind of get bothered by this guy. So nobody will get out. Diggs will hit the back of the end zone. Your number 1 receiver here will hit the back of the end zone and he'll bounce off and run to the corner. And look, how wide open is he? No one within 15 yards or so. Happens every single time. No matter what. You can run it every single time. It has to bounce off the end zone. Touchdown. And literally just as Diggs hits the back of the end zone, the outside cornerback gets distracted and he'll get there. Now if the user decides to play it, see, look, bounced off the back of the end zone and it's wide open, and that will happen every single time against cover 2, no matter what they do. Hard flats, doesn't matter, it will happen every time. Now say the user knows you're going to do that and he decides to go on the free safety and he's going to go out there and play it. If he does that, you have this R1 route to your running back, wide open every time. I threw it a little bit early because I got some pressure and he got messed with a little bit. That wouldn't normally happen most of the time. You put your running back on the streak like this and it fits out a big old hole from right there every time. Now the user's most likely going to be there, so you're never going to throw it there, but that's what you can do pretty much every time. So let's pull out here. That's with the, I would always put the square receiver on a hitch. If we're throwing it in the red zone like this, I would always put that guy on a hitch. And yeah, you throw your running back in the middle here, wide open. And then what most people will probably do in the red zone though, because there's such a heavy threat of the run here, you can run this ball and you can get in like that. Because there's such a heavy threat of the run inside the 4-5, they're most likely going to man blitz you. When they man blitz you, it's even worse. Or, if they play any kind of man coverage. So, we'll come out in something like, even a cover 3, we'll do the same setup as before. The hitch, and you can squeeze this running back ball with an outside pass lead in there. If I thought it was cover 3, so you can see single high safety, etc., I'd actually keep everything as is, and then at this point here, cover 3 does a solid job of shutting it down. I'm not sure if Diggs may have been open, but my guess is no. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, Diggs will still get open versus a cover 3 as well. As long you have to run this play to the short side of the field though, you have to be on the left hash, or if you're on the right hash, you want to flip the play. But this is pretty much your go-to setup. You'll get, as you can see, Diggs is going to get open. You can even low ball this square route in if you want to. Like, even if it looks covered, if you low ball it, they won't play it. So Diggs bounce off the back of the end zone, you low ball this in, I can probably repeat that play a ton of times. You'll get it every time. But the main thing we're really looking for is digs on the bounce off the back of the end zone. Here, so bounces, and we throw it to him. No user is playing all the way out there either. No user is ever sitting out there. If you run this too many times, they know it's coming, etc, etc. Maybe they go out there with a safety. You can throw this every time. It's an easy pitch and catch. So that's versus cover 3. Same setup as the other ones. Maybe they get out there, maybe they don't. If they do though, you know you can pass lead this outside, like forward, and you know maybe about 11 o'clock, maybe no, 1 o'clock, sorry, and you'll get that pretty much every time. So he runs upfield, pass lead at 1 o'clock, bang. Now, if they call man coverage, this is when we go back to what we was doing earlier. The hitch will probably be there. So let's see. If they call man, not a lot of people actually. Well, Storm Brave 1. So this is the standard kind of man blitz play. It looks like man. You can see the guys that are over everybody. So we can go to that, catch that ball, possession catch, get our touchdown. But also, you know, we think they're sending maybe some pressure. Same thing again. The Knox pass that we was doing earlier misses the throw. But you just want to low ball it, pass lead it down. Maybe at about 6 or 7 o'clock to help box the defender out pretty much. And Allen keeps missing the throw. But I've thrown a ton of touchdowns like this. Allen keeps missing the throw. They won't normally miss the throw. It doesn't normally come up inaccurate like that. I don't know why it is, but there you go. That's normally he won't come back to the ball as much as he did. But that's pretty much what you want. There you go. That's exactly how it goes 99% of the time. So you first breed over here. You can even probably versus man throw this hitch. Yeah. So you can even throw the hitch. So you're throwing 2 balls outside the numbers. The user is going to be in the middle of the field, likely messing around with this X route, which you can even still throw as a low ball. I think it bounced off of someone, but which you can even still throw that. So pretty much all these routes get open in the red zone. Like there, throw this ball low, easy for touchdowns. This is the best passing play for the red zone. There's nothing that really beats it in my opinion. You can even throw it maybe versus there. You can even kind of throw this ball, even though Gilmore's on it, the best corner on the game and everything. Once Diggs hits the back of the end zone, he's going to do his bounce, and we got the touchdown. I wouldn't ideally throw it versus man coverage. Ideally versus man, I'm just going to throw that ball out there every time. I forgot to block the running back, but if you think it's man coverage, block the running back, because otherwise they may get out to it. So you ideally just want to do that every time. But yeah, that's Ohio spacing. Let's say it's the best short yardage play in the game, and it's especially good in the red zone, inside the 5. You know, the threat of the run from a heavy set like this makes people more likely to blitz and things like that, and that's when you can, you know, get the plays you need off. So yeah, that's Ohio spacing, and I'll catch you in the next one.